A live shot of the Ambassador Bridge between Windsor, Ontario and the United States right now. The bridge has been closed for an investigation of possible explosives. Police say no direct threats were made to specific people and traffic has been rerouted. However, the investigation is still ongoing at this time. The CBC's Jason Vio is near the scene and joins us now live. So Jason, can you give us an update on the situation?
Sure, Andrew. It's still very much an active scene here. Normally you would see trucks coming out of the bridge here. I'm standing on the road where they should be, but the bridge is closed now in both directions. And police did shed a little bit of light on what exactly transpired here. They say the CBSA, the Canada Border Services Agency, called them about possible explosives inside of a vehicle in the secondary inspection. So that confirmed to us it did not take place on the bridge, but rather just behind me here where you see the emergency vehicles. And I'll move out of the way. You can see it's very much still an active scene. Fire, EMS, CBSA, Windsor Police, the explosives unit on scene right now, but you're not seeing any trucks or any traffic even coming through no longer because, again, the bridge is closed in both directions. A helicopter flew over not too long ago, so a very active scene here. And when they say, when police said there was no threat at this scene, I did clarify with them because obviously there was a threat, and it's why we're seeing what we're seeing now, but they said there was no specific threat in terms of a threat against an object or a person. That's what they mean by that, but they say it's still very much being taken seriously. Clearly, the safety of the public and the staff here at the Ambassador Bridge, they say, is paramount. And I'm hearing also from the Canada Border Services Agency, and they're not speculating at this point how long the bridge will be closed for.
So Jason, I was trying to understand the language. They said no threat was associated to this, and this is believed to be an isolated incident. So I'm just trying to understand, Jason, has the threat been eliminated? Was there anything found, or are these just answers we don't have yet?
Yeah, a lot of that is still unclear, Andrew, at this point, because they're still using language, even in their most recent statement, possible explosives. And we do know that they have a robot here that rolled off the Windsor Police explosive disposal unit. So that is on scene assessing the situation, but they haven't confirmed what exactly was in that vehicle, if it in fact was explosives. But by no threat, again, they mean that there was no specific threat associated with this vehicle and the possible explosives inside, but the investigation still very much an active one.
So tell us a little bit about, kind of where you are and where this is all taking place. Is this kind of like a secondary area on the Canadian side? Just tell us about where you are.
Sure. So I'm standing kind of on the road that connects the bridge to local traffic as it heads to the 401 just behind me here. And this is where trucks would normally be exiting off of the bridge. And kind of behind me, I'll move out of the way again just so you can see those booths there. That's the primary inspection. And then they get flagged for secondary inspection if they come across something suspicious. And that's where they said they were notified about possible explosives inside of a vehicle. Again, how that conversation happened, what exactly the person inside the vehicle said to officials, unclear, but any type of language being used around an international border crossing like that, and this is the busiest land border crossing in North America, obviously taken very seriously. You can see by all of the emergency crews here behind me.
And this does not happen often, Jason, right? I mean, as you say, the most important crossing, I was thinking that it was either this or the tunnel, but this one, obviously, as you're suggesting, is there's more traffic that flows along the Ambassador Bridge than through the tunnel. So, fortunately, this kind of thing doesn't happen often, but it must be really clogging things up today.
Absolutely. It's interesting to look behind me too on Huron Church Road. There are no trucks there when it normally would be backed up bumper to bumper, no one coming out. I mean, 3.5 million commercial vehicles cross here on average every year. So just closing it down for a short period during the day, or we don't know when it will be reopened, has its implications for sure. So we'll have to wait and see how long this major crossing between Canada and the US here will be closed for.
So Jason, the other question that I had for you is they're rerouting, right? I guess so. They're closing it down in both directions.
Right.
Do you have a sense of where the vehicles that are approaching, or I mean, perhaps now they're not approaching because they've heard what is going on, but where they're being rerouted?
Right. So a lot of the transport truck traffic can't be rerouted to the Windsor-Detroit tunnel, obviously, because it's a small tunnel. They won't fit in there, and they don't have the capacity to handle that type of traffic. So that's where visitors or people in vehicles will cross. But the truck traffic is being rerouted to the Blue Water Bridge in Sarnia. So when you're taking the 401 into Windsor, you actually have to turn off to go to that route. And same with on the other side, you'll have to go to a different border crossing completely. And even there is some truck traffic still trickling through, and I'm seeing some, it appears, still crossing the bridge. It looks like they're getting on, but I'm not sure if there was a pinch point on the highway where they're rerouting, and anyone kind of who made it past that before the closure was made. It's still unclear, but there is still some trucks moving towards the bridge, and it appears they're still trickling on going into the U.S.
So, Jason, that's also important to something that I didn't know that I'm learning, is the transport trucks can't go through the tunnel. They can only go across the bridge.
Right. Exactly, yeah. It's not equipped. If you've ever been through the tunnel, it's equipped for cars, small trucks, maybe box vans, those types of things. So it's not an easy reroute if there already is trucks in Windsor to turn around, go back up the 401 more than an hour, and then go down another highway to get to Sarnia. So it's definitely clogging things up, both here in Windsor, because this major border crossing is closed. The tunnel will get that extra traffic, and certainly so will the Blue Water Bridge in Sarnia.
All right, Jason, we will check in with you this afternoon, but appreciate your reporting now. Thank you. That is the CBC's Jason Vio in Windsor, Ontario. Now, the Ambassador Bridge, as we've been telling you, is a vital link between the Canadian and American economies. Jeannie Lee is here to talk about what this means for trade. And Jeannie, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit embarrassed. I didn't necessarily know that the transport trucks can only use the bridge. They can't use the tunnel. I just thought maybe the tunnel was a secondary option, but clearly it is not. So having that major crossing, the most important crossing for goods in this country, that part I did know, that it is now closed. I mean, even a short closure has got to create some kind of chaos.
Well, that's it. If you look at where Jason was standing, who has ever seen that particular area not bumper to bumper with huge transport trucks and trailers and, all of them practically at a standstill, obviously, to cross the border. But many of them are coming up behind them to also cross the border. This is a bridge that never sleeps, operates 24/7, vital artery for goods coming into Canada, out of Canada, sometimes back and forth, as happens a lot in the auto industry, for example, as parts are made and then sent down to the U.S. to be further refined, to be brought back, etc. So that's just the auto industry. Think of all of the other industries that use this road, basically, to do business, and that is not happening
Isn't
right now.
it something
Sorry
to interrupt you.
On a normal Monday morning, it would be super busy. You have these stats from the U.S. Federal Highway Administration saying that the Ambassador handles 27%, so more than a quarter of all trade that travels by road between the U.S. and Canada and back again, and both ways. So on average, we're talking about $1.4 billion worth of goods crossing the bridge each and every day. And you do more of the math, and it means every single hour of the day, we're talking about an average of $58 million of cargo being transported. So every hour, it adds up in terms of both economic impact, but also, the headache and for all the people who are involved here. More than 300, sometimes 400 trucks every hour on average, 24 hours a day. So at a time when we already know that the supply system is severely crunched, already so many delays, this cannot help when many trucks are stuck and maybe can be diverted elsewhere, but there's only so much capacity. And as you say, some of the bigger ones carrying a lot of the cargo definitely stuck for quite a while, and it's going to take time to clear the backlog as well, if you think about it.
All right, Jeannie, thank you.